Mike Feeley, how you doing, man?
Feeley.
It's not Fr. Feeley. Like the kicker? Is the kicker Feeley?
Yes, except I have one more E. It's Ley in mine.
But his
L.
is Feeley too, right?
Yes, Jay Feeley.
Yeah. He was a Falcon for a while.
He was. He was. When I moved here, he was a Falcon.
Yeah.
No connection that I know.
He's got he's a pretty good commentator though. Like he's still on like NFL live. Like he's a pretty good commentator. So he's still around.
Cool.
He's still
Nice.
Feeley.
Yeah, I've been Feeley my whole life.
Nice.
Feeley,
I get mail like
Feeley.
Feeley. It's just constant.
Feeley.
1,010th person that's done that.
Nice.
Okay, well, I'm not odd then.
No,
I'm not
it's so
odd.
common and I can't figure out why.
Well, I typed it in that way.
I know.
Like I typed it in wrong. It was your fault. You did this.
Listen, it's okay. That's how they go sometimes.
Wait till we talk after this.
Yeah, okay.
How are we doing, man? How is so it's Procom,
Right.
How, over the last year, this is just. I was at a birthday party this morning, like a 30-minute birthday party with my little girl because the mom only has my little girl over for her son to have a birthday every year. I don't know why, but I guess she just likes it like that, right? Small. And we were there last year, and it feels like it was like 5 years from that year to this. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
Time
that was
flies.
last year. And it just feels like forever. Because of COVID and everything that's happened in that 1 year. How's Procom done in that year?
We have only grown.
Yeah, that's great.
There's been no negative impact on our business whatsoever.
Nice.
We had a business manager in here, a business advisor in here the other day, and it was like he was like, "There's going to be people that, do it." Go back to what they did before, and then there's going to be people that never go back to what they did before, and there's going to be a hybrid between the two. Mm-hmm. Which one do you think you are?
Well,
y'all never changed any model or anything?
No, nothing changed for us other than trying to grow more. Mm-hmm. We just literally had no negative effect on our business whatsoever.
Did you guys already work from home and things like that? Yeah, because
we did.
You're managed IT service, right?
Right, and we've been pushing cloud-based applications and solutions for many years now. So there was nothing new. Randomly,
the birthday party that I went to this morning. The husband works for a large managed IT company. I don't even know which one it is, but the wife works for CarMax. And she was like, we don't have a cloud-based managed IT. Like all their stuff is server-based still. I just think that is amazing that big of a company. That's a publicly traded company. Is not up to date on that. I mean, do you see that a lot?
Well, we see that when you have a refusal to accept a new way of doing things.
Right.
That's when we see that.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to find people who have been very successful in a certain way, and they will not adapt or adopt anything new because that's how they got successful. Mm-hmm. And I've had those conversations with very successful people who called me on their cell phone and called my cell phone and then told me how they don't want to use computers and cloud products. And I said, well, why'd you use a cell phone to call me?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Why'd you use a landline? They work too still, because it's a better way.
Right.
And so sometimes there is a better way, and you need to consider that.
What is their biggest objection to that? Just this sheer cost, just the change in itself?
Change.
That's what it is?
Fear of change, especially with people. The worst ones of all are the ones who have been very successful.
Right.
Because they've been successful a certain way, and they're not going to... Very few of them are going to step outside of that.
Right. There was a guy that I know that he was a hardware guy, and there was a big theater chain that you would definitely know if I said their name. But he said that company just started out so humble that the guy that really sold tickets at the counter was the CFO now. Like that's how old school bank thinking. The teller is now the vice president. There's nothing wrong with that. Is going within your company and promoting. But he was like, it was like pulling teeth for them to do anything because this is what's worked for them the whole time.
Exactly. And I've come across that quite a bit. And I find the only time anybody in that category actually decides to make a change is when the pain point is so great. Mm-hmm. The phone system is failing. They need to go from a landline essentially based phone system, which still exists if you can believe it, to a cloud-based phone system.
Sure.
And then they do that, and they realize how less expensive and more features and options there was, and they're like, I should have done this 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely don't go down as much, for sure, right? The VoIP and cloud-based, and That's correct, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And most of them, even people who think they're not on voice over IP, most of them, if you go to their server room, you'll find that their analog phone system is converted to voice over IP before it leaves the building. So they're already on voice over IP. They're just not getting the features.
That's insane. Yeah. So I would, there's definitely a money issue, but the actual change of it, and that's the first thing I think we spoke on the phone, a year or so ago. But when me and you were talking with Deborah on the phone, I was like, look, I know your service. It's when somebody's hair is on fire, and that's when you get a referral from us typically. When there's a problem,
right?
And that's what our reps and everybody's used to hearing is let's. What's blowing up in our merchants thing? It might not be merchant service, but telecom. I need a desk, office supplies. It's a lot of things that is on fire at that point.
We get a lot of calls, referral based, just like that. So, got a major problem, internet connections going bad, whatever the case may be, and then we get that phone call, and it's a warm referral to begin with.
Yep.
We go in. It's typically not very difficult to figure out what it is,
sure,
and create the solution. And so that's a main driver of new business for us.
Okay.
It's firefighting.
So 1999, we're going to start at 2000 because we don't go 99 before, right? Prior? South of 99.
Yeah. So moved here in December of 99.
Lost the Boston accent, obviously. You've been here long enough.
People up north think my accent's gone, and people down south think it's not. So
it definitely.
I don't belong either place. But
but you probably didn't have the sick Southie accent.
I had that very much so.
Did you? Okay. Okay.
In fact, my first job was stocking shelves in a liquor store on Broadway in South Boston.
So there's a big
13 years old.
Right. There's a big difference just like there's a big difference in Manhattan accents to Long Island accents.
Yes.
There's a big difference from South Boston to northern Massachusetts accents. I mean, it's
very
totally
very
different.
Big difference. Yeah.
So you had the thick, right?
Big time.
What about? Do you think Matt Damon and them did a good job? A lot of Boston people give them hell for that.
But those guys are from there too, so they don't have that hard of a time, going back into it. They've kind of forced themselves to lose it, and they kind of have to force themselves to go back to it. But accents. I think overall accents are kind of waning across the country. I go back up north and visit friends of mine, and their kids don't have a Boston accent.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I get it.
It's the kids are the one that rule the accents. I guess they change, and then their kids talk like them. And
I think it's a more transient world now. People move a lot more than they used to.
Yeah.
And so, like you got down here was millions of people from all over the world, and then Boston is full of people from California, New York, and DC. And I think a lot of it's just kind of getting blended.
That's what we talked about that earlier. Like I'm refining my house here in the next month, and a lot of people don't stay in houses for 3 to 5 years, and they're moving. Even if it's in the same community, they're moving in cars. You might as well do a subscription-based model on a car because people are paying their car off and getting right into a loan, which is crazy to me. But
I won't do it.
But most people do these days. I'm the odd one on that.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, you drove the car until it couldn't ride anymore, until there was so many problems that you couldn't fix it. And you can fix almost anything in the old cars, right? So it can just keep getting fixed and keep getting fixed until, 15, 20 years ago now you needed another car.
Yeah, I get it. I'm the same way. If I can't afford it, I'm not buying it. I hit that point in my life where
I hate payments.
I'm out of debt. I'm not going back in.
I just hate payments, man.
Yeah.
They sneak up on me, and I'm like, man, I'm paying $2,000 for this, $500 for this, $2,000 for this, but you can do a subscription model. If you're going to do that, you might as well get a subscription model to a car, and that's going to pop up in the next. Subscription models are going to be huge in the next 10 years, and you're going to be able to get a car for $400 or $500. I think Volvo's doing it now. They have a subscription model where you can do like, $500 a month, $700 a month, $750 or something like that, and it includes insurance, and it's bumper to bumper the whole time you're in the subscription. So, if you're going to do that, and there's car clubs too where you can get in.
I've heard about the car clubs.
Yeah, I need my own car.
I
couldn't be in a car club. I needed to have my own.
I'm
not sharing it with anybody.
I'm with you. Would say you keep it as long as you want, though. My understanding, you just keep paying for it, and when you want to, if you give it up, then it's on that lot, and then if you want to get a van for the the family vacation.
Yeah, just switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but that car, if it's not back on there, it's in Roderick's hands now.
Yeah, that is true.
It's like baseball cards with the cars. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were you a big baseball guy? You Boston guy?
Big baseball. Played baseball through high school. Loved baseball. Coached baseball for my son.
Yeah.
Big time. Love
What do you
baseball.
think about the resurgence of baseball cards?
I think it's interesting. I think
It's crazy, huh?
There's things go in cycles, and I think that one's coming back around somehow.
It is. Like I went to my mom's house to look for baseball cards.
You'll try to see if you can find some.
Yeah, because I had so many of them. I mean, I'm an '80s, '90s kid, so that was when it was the prime, and then it started dipping off. I mean, that was when the Ken Griffey was going for $600, $700, $800, the rookie card, and then all the other cards. The Honus
Now you
Wagner.
scan them in.
Yeah.
So they're selling those, right?
They sure are.
Which it could hit.
It's going to.
It definitely already has. But I'm talking about mainstream kids buying them for $5, $6, $7, then them going up, and you own that image. The problem with me that I see is because that there's a LeBron one where he's dunking, and it was like a 10 or 15 second clip, right? And you own that 10 or 15 second clip. That's what. But can they break it up into 3 seconds and then 3 seconds on the end and make that 3 different cards? Or can that be 15 different cards? You get a still frame, but you own the 10 seconds. And does that make your 10 seconds more valuable or less valuable?
You're actually more on top of major emerging technology than maybe you realize.
Yeah.
Called NFTs.
I know what it is. Yeah. They're NFTs. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That LeBron sold for crazy.
Yeah.
There's someone that's $1 million, $2 million per image. Well, it's not an image. It's an actual reel, if you will. It's a 10,
It's
15.
fascinating.
It's weird, isn't it? It's good.
It is fascinating.
But I mean, if I had to really step back and look at it, it's more it's just as valid as a cardboard card, right?
And maybe more.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's pretty cool. You should go on and look at those things.
We are just scratching the surface of that whole world.
I think so too.
I know we are.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I think so too. And you probably being in the managed IT service, there's probably people at your office, people that work for you that are all into it, huh?
I'm all into it.
Oh, are you? Have you bought them?
So you chose one.
Have you bought them yet? I know which one you want. You want the Carlton Fisk off.
Carlton Fisk was my hero.
Yeah,
I was a catcher all through
base.
baseball.
Nice.
Carlton Fisk was my hero. Devastated when he went to Chicago. I couldn't believe it.
He was a badass, that's for sure.
he
Hall
was
of
awesome.
Famer, right?
Yeah.
Is he he's a Hall of Famer?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Were you around in that era? I mean, were you probably in high school?
Oh
in that
yeah.
era, right?
I'm 54, so
Okay.
I was right there.
That
yeah.
was your teenage years. Then,
Oh
right?
yeah.
That's
it was-
awesome.
It was right there. I mean, I was at the games at Fenway all the time.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a
so the
unique
last
experience.
15 years have been good years for you, huh?
Can't complain. I watched my teams go down in flames year after year after year, and so
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
I'll take some pleasure in it.
Yeah, you should. You should. I lived in Jacksonville when the big comeback happened against the Yankees, and my friend was from Geneva, New York, but all of his friends, they went to like a college. Where did they go? I can't even remember where they went, but all of his friends were Boston fans, and they were all down sleeping in the living room of my condo in Jacksonville when we were down there. And I just remember those first 3 games because they were down there for like a month or something like that. We were 24, we didn't care. Hey, yeah, just clean up after yourself. That was it. We're going to work. But I just remember those last 4 games and how exciting it was. And I'm, it's not that I was a Boston fan, but how excited they were. It was so exciting for me.
It's the Mecca.
Every game was just so crazy.
To come back down 3 and to win against the Yankees.
I know. It's
And then win the World Series. There is no better moment for a Red Sox fan. It's impossible to beat that.
Right.
No, well, I mean, I'm a Yankee hater, so I hate the Yankees as much as I hate the Patriots.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So no, the Yankees when the Diamondbacks beat them on the 9th inning thing, and then he's a coach now, the guy that crossed home plate, but I was just like, eat that. I hate y'all. And Boston fans are the same way. Like, I hate you.
Visceral fans, for sure.
That's right. What's next with Procom?
Well, we've been a managed services IT company for many years, and we got almost all of our clients into some sort of a cloud solution, and to some extent. So some of them have cloud files, all of them have cloud backups. but some have all their entire file system now is cloud-based. We have some operating systems that some of our large clients will use that are cloud-based login because there's multiple locations.
Are you Microsoft Dynamics? Is that what you go through and set them up with?
We inherit a lot of operating systems and we just manage with whatever those are. And in most cases, we'll just stay with
what they're doing.
Whatever they're doing. So we're kind of agnostic about that.
So you just upgrade what they have.
Yeah, I mean, we don't try and rewrite the book for them.
That's right.
We just sort of take over what they're doing and make it a little better if we can and improve it. In most cases, they're actually on a decent platform. They're just not being serviced very well, and so that's why we come in and help out like that. So so going from managed IT services, which is basically break fix. So we have a ticketing system. It goes out and a guy gets dispatched and he remotes in or he goes on site and reconnects the printer or whatever the case may be. And we're
turns the computer on and off.
Yeah, right. Reboot it. Reboot solves a lot.
It does.
To now going towards full cloud computing. So purely cloud computing. Your entire computer is in the cloud. It's not below your desk. And we've got a device that you put your monitor, your keyboard, and your mouse, and you plug that into your wall jack.
Isn't that amazing?
And pops up a login screen. You log in, and there's your computer. And
it's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is
different. It's the next natural place to go because when you have your cloud backups going off site and you have your phone system as cloud, you have your files cloud.
Right.
Well, the only thing you have left is your computer.
That's it.
So now, and then you end up with file version problems. This computer has version this, that computer has version this, different Excel
connection between
all these different things,
one software to another.
And when you take 25 people off of 25 desktops and put them into a cloud computing environment, which is always updated, always the same, no version issues, it solves a lot of problems right away. And as compliance becomes more and more of an issue for businesses, that solves almost all compliance issues right away because you're using very high-grade encryption, internet connections as well as connections to your cloud computer. So it's kind of a new thing. People are not wrapping their arms around it that quickly right now. They will, and we're planning on being on the front end of that.
Yeah. So we spoke with Brad Park at Davio's. Oh God, that was so long. I can't even keep up with time now because
that was a while ago.
But I was telling you about that as PCI, formulates their plan a little bit better than it is. That's the nice way to put it. Then you'll get a lot of business off the PCI compliance stuff and managed IT and things like that.
We'll be on the supporting side more than the PCI compliance side. Most of the vendors that bring the solution forward do their own PCI testing and compliance through their network and through their cloud services. So we can help with that. It's of all the compliances, that's the least one we'll be involved with from what we do.
It shit doesn't. There's no. They don't. It's not very well written right now. It's like you're compliant, but what does that do for you?
Well,
because you get fined the same whether you're compliant or non-compliant.
If you get fined, and that's the biggest thing that we're finding is that there's very little enforcement. For compliance, unless someone gets hurt. So if there's a breach and there's a complaint filed, then there's a big time enforcement action, and things go downhill fast for that customer. But until that happens, compliance is not a major issue for just about anybody, and it's amazing to me but part of the problem is you've got compliance in Massachusetts and you've got compliance in New York and compliance in California, and they're all different. But if you're in Massachusetts and you have customers in California, you have to be compliant on both. And that's difficult to do. So what's going to happen is
you just take the higher bar then.
Well, you can't. You have to be compliant with both, and they both have different, very unique stipulations in those compliance laws. So what's going to happen is that there's going to be a federal compliance law that's going to supersede all of them.
FTC is going to oversee that.
Yes, I don't see it. Being written right now, but I think it will be soon, where that will be the overall compliance that businesses in the United States will have to follow. European Union has done it. Other countries have done it. We'll be next, and then you'll see. Then you probably will see enforcement at that point. But right now, it's so cut up and unenforced. it's not a topic that people really are interested in right now.
Yeah, we've seen that with PCI stuff, and it's just like there have been people fined though now. For years and years, nobody like you're gonna get fined. Nobody ever got fined. There was no Visa MasterCard police going on out there, but there actually I know people that have been fined 70, 80 grand, and you know.
Oh yeah, and we one of our clients, a pretty large benefits company, they got audited, and they paid a lot of money, and they were not compliant. So they got referred to us by one of our bigger partners, and we moved them to 100% cloud computing, which solved all of their compliance issues that they were being fined on. And so they embraced that but again, it was pain. Pain brought them to the table, and pain made them accept what we were providing for a solution.
It's amazing what a fine and a checkbook will do for people's
think about it.
Their willingness to change.
I don't believe they would be doing it right now if they hadn't been fined.
Of course.
So they were fined into using our cloud computing platform, not because they wanted to or they thought it was better.
Well, I've always said that the fine has to be big enough for them to care. You know, so like I've told, you know, when I was in the early 2000s, I remember the whole DuPont thing going on. And they didn't care. They kept getting fined and fined and fined because the fine was, you know, it was cheaper to pay the fines than to build the infrastructure to actually dispose of the waste in the right way. So they're like, okay, well, we'll just keep paying the fines.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of technology changes come like that. I mean, voice over IP was one that nobody wanted to talk about when it first came out, and now everybody is either on it or wants it. So that there was a progression there from the product existing to adoption, and it took a while, you know. And cloud computing is going to be driven by compliance because rather than trying to make all these computers compliant individually and going through all that, if you simply go to a cloud computing platform, the vast majority of your compliance issues are taken care of.
So monitor only, plug in the wall.
Monitor, keyboard, mouse to a device that takes all the peripherals, puts them together into the data jack. Login pops up. You log in. There's your computer. There's no lag time. You can't tell that computer's not under your desk.
Right now.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, one of the things, you know, I could see being hesitant, you know, as a business going over is like, is my stuff backed up back here? How often does that happen for you guys?
Well, that's a very interesting conversation. I'm glad you brought that up because most people who have that issue are already backing up their stuff to the cloud.
Okay.
So I simply tell them, I'm putting your computer where all your stuff is going. You're feeling safe as the backup happens every night.
It's immediately though.
Now your computer's there.
Right.
So you're trusting it with your stuff. Trust it with your computer. Right. It's just the next level.
But it's saving it immediately. There's very intermittent things that you would lose just in case. But, you know, if it goes down in a day and you're backing it up every day to the cloud, which most people don't, you know, most people don't back their phones up. But people's phones and they don't back it up every day. They don't back it up every week or you know whatever 2 weeks or whatever. You lose all that stuff in between. So if it's doing it immediately, there's only a small amount that can be lost, right?
And most people, I mean, all of our clients, the ones that haven't taken on the cloud computing, they're all doing what I call a hybrid cloud computing. They're all they're on their computer, but all their files are being pulled from the cloud.
Right.
So they're kind of doing it already. They just haven't made that last jump of putting the computer where all the other stuff already is and just pulling it down.
Yeah.
The next step is put the computer there.
Yeah, it seems like security-wise, it would be better. You know,
much
as
better.
well. You know,
it's much better.
You can have a better handle on it.
No more buying computers.
Right.
I mean, think about that CapEx. No more buying computers.
Right. Yeah, they'll figure out a way to make money.
No, they absolutely will, and they already are, because a lot of these companies are getting into data centers.
Well, it's also subscription-based stuff, and that's all they're going to be doing.
And that's the next thing.
It was from licensing to web to cloud, and then, you know, it's the same thing when phones were 35 cents a minute, when back in the day, Biggie said phone bill is about 2 G's flat.
2 G's.
And people and kids now are like, how can your phone bill be 2 G's? Well, if you're talking on it's 35 cents a minute and you talk on it, it's not take long to get there.
No.
But then it got competitive. All the phones came out, and you're like, hey, you can get it for $20 a line. You can get it for this. And then data started coming out. And then they started getting their bill back up. So they're always finding a way to get that bill,
margin back.
That bill back up. Yeah.
But from an owner of a business standpoint, you know, when you go to subscription-based cloud computing, you can turn them on and turn them off very quickly.
Right.
So your number can change really fast. You buy that computer and that person leaves and that computer still sits there. Well, in the cloud computing environment, you can just turn that one off.
Right.
And now that monthly bill goes down that one instance. So there's so many ways that it benefits the owner of the business that it will be mass adopted.
I think so.
But we're at the early phases of that.
So it's going to help me out, because I'm going to get Neuralink, Elon Musk. I'm going to get Neuralink because it's going to have. It's going to be on cloud. I mean, I will be able to tap into it at least if I want to.
I get it.
And I can go offline.
I get it.
I can go offline if I want to because I'm going to be one of the first adopters of Neuralink. So I'm going to be one of the first androids that
I've
ever
not heard
exists.
Neuralink before.
You never have?
No, that's a good one. No.
Yeah, it's
No, it's a real thing.
with Musk, yeah.
Elon Musk.
Starlink.
No, it's Neuralink, right?
Oh,
Let me see. Look it up. He's got it. My guy's got it. Yeah. So
I thought you. So Starlink is what he's working on with the satellites. And
no.
And I thought you said Neuralink, where like it was able to those signals actually tapped into your brain.
It is.
Then I'm not on. Then I'm behind.
It
on
is.
That one,
It is. So this is Neuralink. This is Elon Musk, and the first rendition should be. It would be helping fix paralysis or somebody with, bad migraines or all these other things to help it fire more. But the version that I'm gonna get is gonna be the one where I can blink and have a cup of coffee in my hand. I'm gonna get the good one.
That'll be interesting.
I'm gonna get the good. I'm going for the upper echelon of link in my brain.
Why not?
okay.
Right?
There it is.
What do you think? You gonna get one too?
No, not yet. I'm gonna see how yours works
Yeah.
first.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
See if you spontaneously combust all of a sudden.
Well, I might need you. I might need ongoing service from you.
Yeah.
You'll be like my doctor.
That is true.
That'll
That
be
is
interesting.
true.
That'll be interesting.
yeah,
is true.
Dr. ProCare.
Yeah.
Dr. Procom.
Procom.
That's it.
Procom.
Yeah. That'll.
I gotta go to my doctor. Well, what's you getting worked on?
Who knows what's
Neuralink.
next these
Yeah,
days?
that is true. That is
But
true.
think about it. If you were to say, even 20 years ago, you're going to plug your 20, 30 years ago, you're going to plug, because I guess the internet's been around for now, 96, not early 90s.
10 years ago, we thought making a FaceTime phone call was something
It's
futuristic.
crazy. Oh, you're going to plug you're not going to have the computer. You're going to have a monitor, maybe. You might have a holographic screen on
Right.
your wall. That You might not have any hardware for that matter. And you're going to plug your cord into the wall, and that is your computer in the air.
Well,
That's insane.
We're doing it. I mean, right now without the hologram, but we're actually doing it with many of our clients. That we have them on full computing platforms. And they've adopted and love it. The ones that have used it love it. They
I'm
love
sure.
being in their office, typing on a document, and then just logging out and going home and logging in, and that cursor is still blinking in the exact same place it was because you're just seeing the computer from two different places.
Right.
Doesn't
What about security and hacking though? Because if it is on your hard drive in your thing, it's a little more safe than if it's out there, don't you think?
No.
No?
It's a highly encrypted connection from our device to the data center, and then you're behind the data center's firewalls.
Right.
There is no higher level encryption
Okay.
and safety than using the data center's virus protection, firewalls, all the different cybersecurity things they have in place. That is the safest and most secure way, which is why that's where your backups go.
Okay.
They go there because it is the safest place, and then it's replicated to different data centers and duplicated. So if that one blows up, you're replicated over here, so your stuff isn't gone. So that is the safest, and
Cool.
And it's the safest way to do it. It's just not mass adopted yet.
Right.
So 99, you did something in the public service, and then you chose to move to IT. Tell me, that's something that most of those
I was looking
service-
for a change in life.
Okay.
And I started selling building products, believe it or not.
Okay.
In Kennesaw.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. And I did pretty well at that, and they sold the business, and the new owners shut down the branch that I was at, so I was on my own.
Okay.
So I began, and towards the end of that piece of the career, that company was taking in structured wiring as a product, so smart homes. As smart as they were back in 2000, 2001.
Okay.
Which is mostly automated lighting, some other things with some temperature control.
Windows were starting to get.
It was just
smart,
beginning,
right?
but so they had me lead the sales for the structured wiring and technology part of the construction.
Okay.
And so when they got sold, that was the end of that, and how that went. So I actually began building houses because I was in the construction world.
Right.
And I built one house and sold it, and built two and sold them, and did 5 and 10 and 15, 20. Ended up with a pretty good general contracting company, but all of my houses and all my neighborhoods that I developed were all smart homes, smart neighborhoods.
Okay.
Whatever the latest technology was, my places had them, and I
Smart.
loved it. Yeah, very smart. I've always had just an affection for technology and communications and all of it. So it's just something that I've always been interested in. So it was a natural progression.
Right.
2008 came along, 2009. I was in construction and development.
Yeah.
Okay.
Down in
Yeah,
flames.
that went,
So
Down in flames.
Figure out something from there.
At that point, a guy who was a friend of mine who was providing my technology services for my business as well as for my homes and my neighborhoods. You know, he was struggling as well, and we had become friends while working together. And he still had a bunch of commercial clients that he was supporting.
Right.
So we just put our heads together one day and say, you know what, I can sell. I've done it before. You're good at what you do.
Right.
And we went to his client base, got referrals, started knocking on doors, and in the middle of the worst part of the recession, we started this business.
Okay.
And we found clients. It was hard, but we found them, and we literally grew the business when everything was closing. And it was difficult, but it worked. And since then, it's been growing.
Yeah, got you off with a good foundation, though. You know,
Well, I
showed you
figure
how
if
to
we
get it
survive
done.
that,
get the process down.
then we're in the right industry.
Right. Right.
If you can launch at the bottom of the recession and survive, you're in a pretty good industry.
I started Merchant Processing Group in 08.
Yeah.
09. Yeah. I mean, just knocking on doors.
Yep. Yeah, we did it the old school. We literally just made phone calls and knocked on doors.
Knock on doors, man.
Right.
There's always another door.
That's how we did it. Yeah.
Always another door.
Heard a lot of no's, but got some yeses.
Of course.
That's part of it, though. That
Yeah.
that helps to sharpen you up there, ain't there,
Yeah.
though?
Yep.
Yeah. Get you ready for what's next.
So, tell everybody how to get hold of you. Tell me what is your perfect client. Be as specific as you can, and how can we help you?
So our client would be a business between 25 and 100 employees.
Okay.
An office staff typically is what we're looking for, and they've got a need for support, but they don't have enough of a need or a large enough business to have someone full time. And that can range from industries. We have engineering firms, we have medical practices, we have construction companies. It doesn't really matter what industry you're in. You're all using phones, internet, cloud-based backups. You're all using, as far as I'm concerned, you're the same client to me in most cases, unless there's compliance issues. So that's sort of the base of what we're looking for in terms of new clients coming in, because in that size business, they have a need we can fill, and they're going to be prime for us to take them to the next level of computing. So there's two parts to that. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we're not.
So I know you said it's different industries and stuff, but in a vertical driven world, what have y'all got more of? Like engineering, municipalities.
We have no municipalities. We've done contract work for municipalities. Some of the counties have hired us to come in and bring things up to speed, but that was on a contract for a specific goal of theirs. We try to stay away from government as much as possible. It's just a lot more to that, and getting involved in that. I looked at it, and it's a lot. We have not saturated the private sector yet, so we'll stay there and keep working on that. But
because you can live there forever.
Yeah, right. So it's it's an interesting ride. I try to say we're agnostic in terms of industry, because we truly are. Restaurants are not really a strong point for us. They have point of sale, and most of what they do goes through that point of sale.
Right.
Maybe they have Wi-Fi. I've done some Wi-Fi jobs and some TV jobs and things like one-on-one project-based kind of work. We just take it because we bid it and got it and they paid, so we did it.
Right.
And I have the installers to do it with. But for the most part, that's not our reoccurring. Our 25 to 100, it's an engineering firm, it's a construction company, a large construction company with an office staff.
Doing a lot of commercial type.
They have a need. They have a need to be able to call somebody and get something fixed within about 24 hours and get it taken care of so they can function. But they don't have enough of a need to have a full-time person. And that could be many different
There's a lot
industries.
of them, yeah.
There's a lot of them. That's most businesses out there, quite frankly.
For sure. How can we get a hold of you? What's your email address? What is your website?
So our website is totaloffice.tech. So totaloffice.tech.
Okay.
totaloffice.tech.
Okay.
Of course, there's different ways to get a hold of us through that. And then my cell phone, 404-822-8438.
Perfect.
Call me anytime. I'll answer when I can, and I always call back.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming
Yes,
in.
sir.
Thank you. I look forward to doing this in another year with you, just to see where your business is going. Because, we haven't made it a year doing these podcasts yet, but I'm going to start bringing the other ones in because their business is going to be totally different. Especially the one that are like brand new right now. I love how when somebody first starts, it is nowhere near what they thought it was going to be, because they see a path, they take it, and then and it works for them.
And it takes twice as long. It costs
right.
twice as much. You make half the money.
That's right.
The whole plan. And they've done that.
A tornado came through.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I'll tell
know. I know.
Thank you again. We really
Appreciate you guys.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good to
Appreciate
see
you, Mike.
Everybody be kind to each other.
Amen.